What's going on, everyone? Welcome back. It is time for the beginning of a brand new streaming week here on DSPGaming, and man, it's going to be a good one with brand new games, exciting stuff going on. I'm pumped. This has been a great October so far, and we continue with that awesome vibe all week long. So, today, let's get caught up. I'll tell you about my day off yesterday. We'll talk about the upcoming schedule with the exciting multiple new releases this week. But even more interesting than that, we got news. A Twitch streamer gets attacked at TwtichCon, and Twitch acts like nothing happened. Wish I was making it up. In addition, Mr. Miyamoto of Nintendo fame gets interviewed about Nintendo in the movies and says some things that shocked the entire gaming community. Right. So, all this and more on today's week-beginning episode of the Level 1 Podcast. That music seems to end more abruptly now. Anyway, welcome to the show, everyone. I'm DSP. This is the Level 1 Podcast for Sunday, the 19th of October, 2025. The start of a 5-day streaming week. That's right, 5 days of streaming for me this week. FYI, if you're not aware, I've been streaming a lot this month. Like 6-day weeks, pretty much 3 straight weeks, if not longer. And this week, I'm going to take a little bit of extra time off to spend time with my wife. Therefore, I'll be here today through Thursday, with Friday and Saturday being my 2 days off. But then when I'm back next week, it'll be another 6-day week, ending and culminating with the Halloween Marathon. Speaking of which, let's get right into that because I have a couple updates for all of you. All right? Update number 1. Within a couple of days here, essentially on the next podcast that I do, we are going to go through your nominations, the games that you said you want to see me play during the Halloween Marathon this year. So if you have not nominated your games yet, I don't know what on earth you were waiting for, but now would literally be your last chance. The next show, we will be going through that list and seeing what you want and see what the most nominated games are. So how do you nominate games if you haven't yet? Well, right now on this channel, there is a new section called the community. That's right. If you are on the main channel page of DSPGaming, there's a button that says visit community. You click on that, and then you click on creator posts, and you'll see all the posts I've made this month. Go right to the first of the month, and you will find the thread that we put up where you could start nominating games for the event. And there's been tons, from what I don't understand, something like hundreds of nominations. Okay. Now, there's 2 ways you can nominate a game. You could just post it up for yourself, or if someone has already nominated the game that you're interested in that thread, all you got to do is upvote it, okay? Because I'll be taking those and adding them together and figuring out how many upvotes each game has. And what we'll do is we'll see how many games got a lot of attention. Let's say there's only 5 games that really got a lot of nominations, then we'll probably just play those 5, all right? But let's say there's like 10, 15 games that all are like in heavy contention. We'll probably do a poll, and you guys will vote until the end of the month. Let's see. Let's see how it goes. But this will be your absolute last chance to do so. If you haven't, please nominate games. Get it out there. I want your interaction. I want your feedback. That's what makes these marathons so special. And this Halloween event is an annual thing I do, and it's always a great time. So please, please nominate games if you haven't yet. Okay? Cool. Now, I have an update regarding the Halloween marathon, which, by the way, it's taking place on Friday, October 31st, Halloween Day. So that day, I dress up in a costume, which I will have a Halloween costume this year. I have it. I'm just looking for an addition. I haven't had a chance to look for it yet, but I'm hoping I can find one thing that would make the costume a little better. We'll see. But that day, I will be playing games all day long, the ones that you nominate. In addition, there'll be some food, there'll be some booze. We'll probably eat a meal during that marathon. Maybe I'll order out, or maybe my wife will cook. I don't even know yet. But I have something special, and this was totally inspired by a suggestion that I got on stream last week. Last week, someone said, Phil, would you do something special on Halloween, like a taste test? And I was like, what, like a DSP tries it? And they were like, well, not like that. You know, we're not looking for you to try like a meal or something from a restaurant, but would you do something that's Halloween themed? And I started to think about it, and I was like, well, yeah, maybe we could try some candy or something. So I went out, and this weekend, I actually started investigating, okay? And basically, based off of the investigation, I found two interesting things that I want to actually try. Let me just put it this way. They're Halloween treats. That's all I'm going to say. Halloween treats. I will taste test two of them during the Halloween marathon this year. So not only are we going to have games, costumes, food, booze, but also we're going to have some Halloween treat taste testing, which will be pretty cool. Okay? So I hope that you guys are excited. I'm excited. It's always a great time. So I hope that you guys will join me for it. Like I said, all day long, Friday, Halloween, October 31st. For, I'll be drinking shots for levels of contribution and support. And it'll be a great time. Usually, typically, we go to like 5 or 6 games, and we play each of them for like a half an hour to an hour, and it ends up being a really fun event with the variety of stuff that we do. So I'm feeling it this year. I'm pumped. I hope you guys are too, okay? All right. So that's coming up. I'm very excited for that. Now, this particular week is going to be a crazy one. Even though it's only a 5-day week, we've got not one but 2 new game releases that'll be entering the schedule. In addition to that, we've got pretty much very hyped stuff coming up. Silksong Act 3, which I know people are pumped for. I am. More chill Pokemon streaming. Some American Truck Sim fun tonight. Some Mario in the mix. It's going to be a good variety of stuff this week. I'm really looking forward to it. Keep in mind, this is not the end. This is the beginning. Next week, we've got even more multiple new releases coming out. It's pretty wild, the schedule this month, how there's like game after game after game coming out. And it's going to be very hard to juggle and maintain them all. I get the feeling what's going to end up happening is we're going to play some of them and really like them and say, let's keep that in the schedule. But then there might be a couple games that I try and we're like, it's not so good. So we ended up taking them out of the schedule and maybe go back to them later. We'll see. But I'm excited. Plus, as you know, last week, we played a variety of indie horror games. I mean, we played what was it, like 6 of them or something like that? Maybe 7? And man, those were really cool. All right? They were really exciting and fun to do because I usually don't do stuff like that. And I would say that variety was great, but at the same time, not everyone gets it. Like some people just basically showed up to complain. And we're like, oh, these are indie games. These aren't very good. Yeah, but the whole point of doing an event like that, where I had several nights where I did that, was to try to find hidden gems. Like I would argue, out of all the games that we tried, which it was a good variety, I liked the Exit 8. The problem is the Exit 8's only a 20-minute game. We beat it. But it was an individually, like, really, really, like, unique game. Okay? I liked that game, No, I'm Not a Human. Now, we didn't get too far into it, and I don't know how good it will be. But overall, I actually think that it's quite a good game. And I would be interested in trying that game out again if you guys wanted to see me try to continue it. And then on top of that, yes, also, the, what was it called? My Friendly Neighborhood, which if you don't know what My Friendly Neighborhood is, it's a game where essentially the Muppets, not really the Muppets, but they're supposed to be like characters from Sesame Street or the Muppet characters from Jim Henson, have become sentient and have gone crazy, and you're trying to survive as they try to hug you to death. You're trying to figure out what the hell's going on. So it's a pretty darn unique situation, and yeah, I would just say pretty interesting. I am most definitely enjoying it. Maybe we'll go back to those games. Maybe you want to see those games during the Halloween marathon, and we go another half an hour to hour into them. Like, I'd be down for that. But I'm just curious what you guys think. Okay, so obviously give me some feedback and let me know what's going on in that regard. But I loved doing it. Would you like to see an event like that again at some point? Right? Do you think that that would be worthwhile? You'd like to see a cool event where we play indie games like crazy? I don't know. But I thought it was fun. So thanks for watching. Those videos are live. I think we did let me think about this. I'm pretty sure that we did like 6 or 7 of them, and I put them in a playlist. I didn't put the playlist on my main channel page, but there is a playlist that says like Indie Horror Nights 2025. I hope you'll give them a look. All right? Not they were all hits, trust me, but some of them were just like so weird and unique they're worth a watch. Maybe you're interested in playing them yourself, right? That's what I like now because I am a PC gamer now. I have the ability to jump into so many games like this at a moment's notice. And yeah, I'm very excited for the future as a PC gamer. Now, I don't know what's going on right now. Hold on a second here. We got someone I never heard of with a channel that was made in January dropping 50 member bombs on the channel. I don't know if this person is real. I don't know if these are fake because remember, using a VPN, you could fake these. I don't know what to say. The person has one video on their channel. Supposedly they have 2,000 subscribers, despite the fact they only have one video on their channel. So who is this person? Porta Rog has gifted like 100 memberships. Is this legit? How do you even tell? Right? Here's the thing. Like, you got to be skeptical when someone comes by and immediately starts dropping giant contributions you've never seen before. Especially when you know there's loopholes. As they say, Bookworm just said it, it's too good to be true. If it's too good to be true, it's probably not. Not that they can charge back because you can't charge back on YouTube, but they easily could be VPN memberships. So that's why you're seeing all these pop-ups right now. I don't know who this person is. Maybe if they want to speak up in the chat, tag me in the chat and say who they are and why on earth they would be dropping 100 memberships out of nowhere. I don't think they've ever even spoken in the chat. They never said a word. They just did another 50. Do you see what I'm saying? These very well could be all fake. So, I don't know. I'll tell you this. I'm not going to start counting $450 against my stream for someone who I've never seen before. And they just did another 50. Do you see what I'm saying? Now this is getting suspect. Now this is getting incredibly suspect. All right, Porter Rock, how about this? Say something in the chat and explain yourself, or I'm just going to ban it all and block all the pop-ups right now, because more than likely this is completely fake. A channel that was created in January, a guy who I don't know who it is, only has one video on YouTube. He says, I love you, Philip. Well, that's just disturbing. You shouldn't love me. That's weird. It's one thing to come by my stream and say, oh, I like your content. It's another thing to say, oh, I love you. It's disturbing. In fact, we're about to talk. We're about to have a conversation about parasocial relationships that are taking place right now. Something that just happened to TwtichCon that's incredibly disturbing. Okay? So I think we should maybe take a step back here. This guy supposedly just dropped 200 memberships. Do you trust it? Very, very suspect. So what did he say here? What did he just say in chat? He says, I love you, Philip. I've invested in crypto and Solana, and it's paying off. I'd rather kiss you at a meet and greet than Emiru. That's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. Revolting, actually. I know, this is all very normal. This is all very believable that someone would just come to my stream, drop 200 memberships out of nowhere, who I've never seen, never heard of, and has a channel that's only been around since January with one video on it. I don't know. What do you guys think? Are the pop-ups annoying you? Should I just turn them off for now and just let it roll? I'm not going to count this. I'm not, because I can tell you right now, it's probably complete nonsense. For everyone getting a gifted membership, congrats. I hope you enjoy it. You will get the features of the membership regardless if this was real or not, or if this was a VPN nonsense gifting. So enjoy if you get them. But no, you can't check it right away. It takes about 2 to 3 days. YouTube has this lag in their analytics, 2 to 3 days out. And then after 2 to 3 days pass, then you can go back and look at your analytics from previous days. You can see if anything was real or not. So in this case, I will not know at all until like probably Monday, Tuesday. Oh, wait, no, today's Sunday. So probably not till Tuesday or Wednesday. I won't know if any of this is real, which is lame, because you want to be like, wow, this is exciting. I want to celebrate, right? I want to say, wow, we just hit 4 goals and we're 1 goal away from DSP tries it. But you can't. Like, there's no way to even tell. It sucks, doesn't it? It's really dumb that YouTube still has this loophole they don't care about because they've been notified about it tons of times. They just don't care. Yet, they cracked down on people who were using this loophole to buy YouTube premium memberships. They were. Want to know why? Because that only affects them. They're the only ones losing money on a YouTube premium membership that someone's changing their IP using a VPN and getting it for cheap. So they shut that down. But they still haven't closed the loophole by which you can buy endless amounts of memberships for like pennies on the dollar. That they don't care about because that affects the streamer, not them. Typical corporate behavior. So it is what it is. I'll let it run. Porterog, I have no idea who you are, but I can't count 200 random memberships out of nowhere when I don't know who you are. Your channel is literally brand new. There's no content on it. And now you're saying you want to kiss me. It's fucking disturbing. All right. I guess I'll just let these run, these pop-ups for now. If you're getting a membership, congrats. I hope you enjoy it. I guess what we can do, people remind me in a few days. Like if you guys remind me, say in 2-3 days to check YouTube. And if it's there, like let's say it's there and it actually did count, then I will count it towards the goals. But I'm not just going to out of nowhere say, oh yeah, we hit 4 goals from some random who shows up and, says weird shit in the chat. So anyway, this week will be exciting. Great new games, continuing games, horror-themed stuff, right? Halloween coming into full effect this week with a new horror game as well, Tormented Souls. I am excited for this. Let's just, first of all, let's say hello to everyone. How is everyone this morning? Sorry that I got worked up here because of all this nonsense. We got Zeron, Tony Blue, Killa, Dungeon Keeper's Mistress, Pepsi Fan, The Real Sketch, Stevester, Lamcut Tide, Chris. Who else is here? My Ruin, Bookworm, Isna, Original Grant, Space Jam Fam, Uchan. What's going on, everyone? Over on Kick, we got Blizzard, Mango Ice Cream Kitty, Sneed Cobain, Hyperloop, Rambling Ray, a recovering detractor. He's still recovering, apparently. Oh, we got RGB Kings. Only one RGB name. I'm shocked. Usually we have like 4 RGB names. Poxyland. Who else do we got? Starboy. Excuse me. 0900. Gamer Chris is here. Good morning, everyone. Hope you're all in a good mood. Hope you're excited for another 5-day streaming week this week. Should be a good one. So Troy Smith is here too. What's up? Mizo Luffy's here. What's up? See, Porterog just gave another 50 memberships. This has got to be fake. I mean, Porterog, seriously now, give me one reason why to not just ban you right now. Give me one reason in chat to make me believe that this is legit. Now you give another 50. Like, he just gave another 50. This is ludicrous. You know what's funny? When they give so many fakes, they actually add up and actually start to be significant. Like, just for example, even if these are fake, like let's say he uses a VPN, he says he's from Argentina, and he gives like 300 fakes, it still adds up to like $20. It does. So, like, oh, he actually gave me a few bucks. Like, wow. I mean, it sucks that he's flooding the channel with pretty much meaningless memberships, but, all right, I'm banning him. That's it. Enough of this idiot. Okay, he's banned. Let's go ahead and, oh, there we go. It actually removes all those. That's cool. When you ban him, it apparently removes all the stuff from the top of the screen, but I don't think that the pop-ups will stop. But he's banned, so we don't have to fucking put up with this idiot anymore. All right, so they're fake. It's obvious they're fake. They're not real. Okay. What a dunce. All right, so anyway, I hope he enjoyed his 10 minutes of fame where he derailed my podcast. Now we can go back to normalcy. Okay, where do we begin? First of all, there actually are legitimate contributions today that I'd like to shout out. So let's do a few of those, shall we? And then we can actually get to our topics today, which will be the schedule for the week, the really heinous stuff going on at TwtichCon at this point. It's absolutely ridiculous. And I also want to talk about the Miyamoto statement that I think is like mind-numbingly like, what is going on over there at Nintendo? If you didn't hear what Miyamoto said, it's shocking. Like, I was legit, I read it, I did a double take, I was like, did he really say that? And then I read the article, like, from multiple sources, like, yeah, he actually said that. That's something I can't believe he would say. But, all right, we'll get to it. All right, let's get to some real support, shall we? I have to close all these fake pop-ups because they're taking forever. There we go. So, first off, we had a super chat this morning from Dark Ethan, $7 Canadian. And he says, hi, Phil, have a good day. Thank you to Dark Ethan. I'm not sure what that would be USD. Let's take a look. That is $4.99 USD. So thank you to Dark Ethan for $5 early on here today before I even started streaming. I appreciate that. And then Stevester did a $10 super chat, and he said, that was funny before when I donated on Kick where you were like, wait a minute, it's Stevester. I don't remember specifically what you're referencing, but thank you for the $10 super chat, Stevester. It's good to see you here today. Now, in addition to that, Lance Catamaran gifted our first sub of the day over on Kick. Thank you to Lance for that. Let's get that on the leaderboard. And I believe we also had some kicks over on Kick. I'll have to take a look at that in a sec. Well, my chat's not showing it. Let me look on the channel. I really don't like this Kick system. I hope that some service out there finds a way to track kicks properly, because right now there is no way to track kicks properly at all, and it's incredibly frustrating. Was there not a pop-up for kicks? But I don't see it. Did you guys see a pop-up for kicks or not? Was there not just a pop-up for 100 kicks? But it's not anywhere. It's not in my leaderboard. It's literally nowhere. Yeah, I don't know. You see what I'm saying? This thing is stupid. It doesn't work properly at all. I scroll all the way down, and it doesn't say anything. Oh, was it Lance Catamaran? Here it is. Lance Catamaran. I had to refresh it because my leaderboard was glitched. There we go. So thank you, Lance Catamaran. He gifted a sub, and he did 100 kicks at the same exact time. Thank you, Lance. And again, sorry, this kick system, it looks nice, but there's a lot of issues with it right now. The fact that no service even tracks it, so I can't have it's not in my feed. I can't even see when you guys do kicks. I have to like search through my Kick dashboard to try to find it, and it doesn't even work. Very stupid. Okay. Now, in addition to all of that, I received a $100 tip. $100. This person says, congrats on reaching Act 3. Great playthrough. Thank you. Now, I would play an animation. The problem is my animations are now overloaded because of all these gifted memberships. So if I play an animation, I don't even think it'll work. Seriously, I think it glitches. So we'll wait. And maybe if I remember in like an hour, when we get through 300 fake gifted memberships, then I will play the animation for the tip. But $100 tip to whoever that was from. And yes, Act 3 starts today in Silksong. It's going to be an exciting stream. I've heard Act 3 is incredibly challenging. In that basically the game gets so much harder, things change, and you know, people are saying the hardest content, the hardest bosses and things are coming up. So, it's been a wild ride. We've been playing Silksong for 50 hours, and we haven't seen the end of it. We're in the third and final act right now. I'm curious how long the third act is. Like, I don't know. So I wish I did, because then we could maybe like space out, gee, this is how long it'll take to get through it and actually, you know, get to the end. But I don't know. I actually don't know how much is left. If anyone knows, feel free to let me know how long it is. So thanks for that. All right. So that being said, let's talk about the schedule for this week. The schedule for this week is going to be interesting. Okay. Allow me to show you what I have in store for you. Ready? Let's see. Hope this works. It did. Excellent. It's hard to read now because the pop-ups are still going. So, after today's podcast, it is time for Hollow Knight Silksong Act 3 to begin. I hope you will join me for around 2.5 to 3 hours of Hollow Knight Silksong Act 3 content today. Later tonight, it is my weekly late-night chill stream of American Truck Sim. Now, normally I would do this on a Monday night. This week we're doing it tonight, reason being, tomorrow is a new game premiere, and I want to play the new game that kind of takes priority, so I said, let's do Truck Sim earlier rather than later, okay? Monday, there will not be a podcast, all right? Instead, we're going to do a major stream of Pokemon Legends ZA as it continues here on DSPGaming. It's been a fun couple of days we've played it so far. It's very chill. It's relaxing. It's fun to catch all the Pokemon, and people are naming the Pokemon and having a good time with that mechanic that we're doing. Although it's funny because a lot of people, I mean a lot of people, are criticizing that basically the game is inferior to what they wanted. They were expecting far more from the game. The game runs like ass, apparently, on the Switch. Switch 1, that is, not Switch 2. And they're all complaining. But it's hilarious because I see all these people complaining on social media about Pokemon Legends ZA, and I'm like, I bet in a week's time, we're going to get the sales reports and find out that this is the best-selling Pokemon of all time. Because they do this every single Pokemon game. They sit there and they bitch about how bad it is, yet they buy it in record numbers every time. Hence, if you keep doing that, they will never improve the franchise the way you want them to. You reward the mediocrity, and then they don't improve. For me, I like it so far. Now, I've only played it 2 streams. I don't really have many or any complaints. I'm having a good time with it, but then again, we're only about, 5-6 hours in. Maybe as we get further in, it'll get boring. Maybe I'll be like, only being in this city is kind of boring, and they should have done more than just having it be in this one location, this city, right? Very well, that could be the case. Maybe other people are just playing it way, way more than me, and therefore they're further in and they're already bored or whatever. I don't know. But for me, so far, so good. Having a great time with the game, and the audience is liking it too, so no complaints. So that's tomorrow. Tomorrow night, the late stream is the premiere of Ninja Gaiden 4. Or it's actually Ninja Gaiden 4, right? And you might say, oh, that's weird, a premiere at night? Yeah, because it comes out at 5 p.m. Pacific time. So it should be live in time for my second stream, which starts around 7 p.m. That's why we're doing it as the late stream on Monday. I want to play it as soon as possible, so play it when it releases, and it releases at 5 p.m. my time tomorrow, okay? So then we'll do it like that. Then on Tuesday, the podcast will return, and on Tuesday, I think we will go into the Halloween nominations thread on the channel. We will see what games you guys nominated, okay? And we will figure out what games will be for the marathon. If not, we'll do the poll so you guys can vote, okay? And then it will be more Ninja Gaiden 4 on the late stream on Tuesday. On Wednesday, we will not do a podcast. Instead, I will do another major stream of Hollow Knight Silksong Act 3. And then the late stream that night will actually be some Pokemon. Thursday, which is my final streaming day of the week, is the premiere of Tormented Souls 2. So we're going to do that on the first stream on Thursday. Now I'm debating, what should I do for the late stream? Should I do more Ninja Gaiden 4? I could. Could I squeeze in like a Super Mario Galaxy stream? I could. I'm not sure what I want to do. I don't know what I want to do on Thursday night. Maybe I'll leave it open and we'll determine it over the course of the week. Okay? Now, also this week, DSP Tries It, Taco Bell has several new menu items, including a Flamin' Hot grilled cheese burrito, a Frank's Red Hot Diablo sauce chicken burrito and taco, and a new loaded fries also featuring the Frank's Red Hot sauce. So, when we hit 10 goals of support this week, we'll be doing that DSP Tries It. Now you might say, well, when will that be? Well, we're at 5. If you do the math, let's say we hit a goal every stream. Then we'll be doing it on Tuesday, on that first stream. When we hit the goal during Super Mario Galaxy 2, we'll order the food and we'll do it then. Now, there is a chance that maybe we have some streams that are even better, and therefore, if that's the case, then maybe we do it earlier than that. It could even be Monday. We'll see. But we'd have to hit 5 goals. It's going to be hard to hit 5 goals within 3 streams to do it tomorrow. Chances are it'll be Tuesday. Maybe if actually things slow a bit, maybe it'll be Wednesday. We'll see. All right, but I'm excited. I hope that you guys are too. Now, here's the other thing. Someone just said, If you're going to Taco Bell, get a taco lit. They don't have that. I don't even know what you guys are talking about. You're mentioning some kind of a new dessert. They don't have it. I looked at it. It's not here. Maybe it's somewhere in the world, but it's not available at my Taco Bell. I looked online at all, where you can order from. It's not on the menu. So I don't know what the heck you're talking about. I used to know about something called a Choco Taco. Choco Taco was a ice cream taco that was basically like a ice cream cone was the shell, okay? But it was shaped like a taco. And then inside it was ice cream. It was vanilla ice cream, but it was like with chocolate pieces and stuff in it and like a chocolate sauce on top that solidified into like a hard chocolate shell. So it was pretty good. You would crunch into it and you would get this cone flavor, but then immediately you get ice cream with chocolate. It was very good, but it was very messy. That was the problem. You tried to eat it, it would just like go everywhere and melt in your hand when you're eating it. So people are saying they brought it back, but it's called the taco-lit. But yeah, it's not on the menu here. So I don't know if maybe they have it at the local store, but they don't want it for delivery because they know it melts on the way. I don't know. But yeah, it's not here. So there was a story going around saying the Choco Taco was discontinued because it's racially insensitive. What's sad is that I would believe that too in 2025. Black Mamba just gifted a sub over on Kick. I'm sorry, none of the pop-ups are going to work until all the fake gifteds get out of here. So thank you to Black Mamba for a gifted sub on Kick. We're up to 126 of support and climbing today. We are almost at the first goal, which is amazing. Thank you guys for your early support. Okay, so this week is an interesting mix, right? We got Ninja Gaiden 4 premiering on Monday night. We got a lot of Silk Song. We're going to have a little bit of Mario in there, Pokemon Chill, and later on this week, Tormented Souls 2 premiering. So that's a great amount of stuff. But what you guys got to remember, I told you this was going to be a crazy month, right? Next week, we have the premieres of both the Outer Worlds 2 and the Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection. Yeah, all of that is coming out next week. So not only are we going to have all this stuff this week that we're trying to play through and get into the schedule, but then we got more games the week after. It's like, how are we going to do that? It's a good question. Like, I don't know how long Act 3 in Silk Song is, but maybe we'll beat it within the next week and a half, and that'll be something out of the rotation. I also don't know how long Ninja Gaiden 4 is, because typically Ninja Gaiden games aren't that long. So if it's actually not a long game, maybe that'll be a quick one for just like, a few streams and then we wrap it up. I don't know. I guess we'll have to see. All right. So, well, Lilith, thank you. Lilith in chat just said, hey, I hope you had a good day off. Well, thank you for saying that. Now we can transition into our next topic of the podcast today, which was my day off yesterday. So I'm very happy to report autumn is here. 100% fully autumn is here. The weather has significantly cooled down. Okay. It is very comfortable now. We are not even going to have many or any full sun days coming up. It's just like partially cloudy days. And a lot of these days coming up, we're getting rain. And whenever it's rain, it means it's going to be cool in here. Okay. So I'm happy for that. I want it to be cool in here. Fall streaming, is awesome when it's a nice temperature. It's nice in here right now. So it's going to be some good stuff moving forward. No more sweating it out trying to play difficult games like Silk Song. So that's a good thing. And yes, that's correct. That means that likely what I will do is do one more week of this kind of attire, and then by either the end of this week or next week, we're going to transition into more fall and winter attire. Long sleeve shirts, button downs, pullovers, sweaters, the stuff that I was wearing last year, only way earlier because it was cooler earlier last year. Well, I'm going to get into it. Okay. So that's coming soon. Not that you care what I wear, but a lot of people do. They comment on my looks. They comment on what I'm wearing. But there is one big negative. You ready? That means, folks, very soon, there'll be no more gun shows. I won't be able to show off my new guns anymore because I'm not going to have short sleeves. So maybe you guys should enjoy it while you can this week. The final gun show will be put on here on the channel because soon you can't see them. All right? So, there you go. Abdullah says, well, it's LTG who cares most about what you wear. That's very true. That's absolutely true. He's constantly commenting on my looks. So, okay. So cool. Anyway. All right. Let's now get into our news topics for today, shall we? two news stories. The first news story, I wish I could say it's shocking, it's appalling, it's so surprising. I can't believe that this has happened. But in truth, do you want to know the truth? I'm not shocked. I'm not appalled, because this is something that already you should have known about or you should have expected. All right. So TwtichCon is going on right now. What is TwtichCon? Every year, Twitch holds a convention where they try to get their top streamers to hold panels and events. People pay to go to this event to have a chance to meet these people, interact with them, simp to them, because that's really what it is. It's a simping event. It's literally a simping event where you go and simp for your favorite streamer, okay? And this happens once a year, and it actually is a big profit for Twitch. It's held in San Diego, California. It makes them a ton of money every single year, okay? So, I used to go to conventions. Admittedly, I did. Remember, when I was early on in my YouTube career, I would go to these conventions and, cover them and stuff. I even went to a couple conventions as a featured guest. And I did meet and greets with my fans. I did panels, right? It was fun, admittedly. But I think that a lot has changed in the last decade or so. All right? Back when I was a YouTuber and a big-time guy on YouTube for gaming, which I'm not anymore. I'm just a little rinky-dink dude. But back then, all right, people liked you for the content or whatever. And yes, there probably were some obsessive people as well. But I don't think that there was a distinct misunderstanding of the relationship between the streamer and the viewer. And what I mean by that is I really feel like what's happened in the last 10 to 15 years is that as people have become interactive streamers, parasocial relationships have formed. There are people who are watching a streamer and actually believe that they're like a close friend of that streamer, despite the fact that that streamer is one person literally talking to thousands of people through a camera a day. That person believes that they actually have some kind of a meaningful, close connection to the person that they're watching. And so I like this person. I like their content. I like their attitude. I like their personality. Maybe I like their looks. I'm going to actually contribute to their content. I'm going to send them money. I'm going to buy memberships. I'm going to buy subscriptions. I'm going to buy their merch. I'm going to send them tips. I'm going to, join their Discord. I'm going to become part of this community. I'm going to moderate for them. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. All these things for them. And people seem to think, except, the streamer themselves may or may not actually be giving that impression, because I feel like, sadly, in some cases, there are streamers out there that they see the dollar signs, right, involved with these parasocial relationships. And when they see the dollar signs, they just can't help themselves. They act like they're going to have some kind of a relationship with that person, or they give the wrong impression. Notably, these streamers online who do sexualized content, right? Oh, if you contribute a certain amount, I'll jump on a pickle Rick and write it and write your name on my body and stuff like that. Like, that is asking for major problems. You know what I'm saying? 100%. That is asking for tons and tons of major problems. Hold on, because now someone else is doing a bomb, and I don't think it's real. Give me a second here. See, I don't know if this is... Let me see if I can figure this out. Let me see something. Oh, I can't even see channel activity on this one? Someone gifted more, and I don't know if it's real or not. Wish I could have seen, because it was months ago when this particular person was contributing. Well, about a month and a half ago. And now there's a person with the same name that just showed up and started contributing. I'm like, yeah, but is it the same person? I don't know. Oh, what a pain. Man, don't you miss the days when you could just trust a contribution outright and be like, oh, great, someone's being nice to me and contributing and supporting my community. Today, you got to be skeptical at every waking moment because people find ways around the system to do things underhanded or fake contributions. It's stupid. It really is. Like, I wish I didn't have to deal with this shit. I shouldn't have to deal with this shit. As a streamer, I should be able to do my show. But instead, I got to, second guess everything because of this dumb stuff. And again, it's sad that YouTube doesn't care. and there's no way to really fix the issue. You are back. See, this it says this channel has existed for 14 years. I think this is real. All right, so it looks like we actually did just get a significant contribution. Don't ask me about this timing. So this person's name is Final Wish. They did contribute a ton back in September, and their contributions were actually real. All right? They just dropped a 50-member bomb, okay? So thank you to Final Wish. This guy did contribute before, and he's contributing now, and this I will count because I trust it, simply because he's been here before. I checked it. It looks like it's the same channel as before, okay? Final Wish, you got to understand, we just had someone who came in out of nowhere. No one knows who they are, and they dropped 200 memberships, so we know that they're fake. So the fact that you just showed up out of nowhere, obviously people are going to be skeptical, right? So there you go. Anyway, so thank you to Final Wish. 50 memberships, real memberships this time. We will count that. So that is the equivalent of $150 of support. Yeah. Shit. What did I just say? I didn't mean to do that. And that means with that, just that one contribution for Final Wish, we have hit our first goal of the day. So thank you very much to Final Wish for literally gifting an entire goal by themselves this morning. That is absolutely amazing. I very much appreciate that. Sorry for the weird timing, because normally we all excited, but with the person who gifted the fake ones, you know. But thank you so much. We're at 6 out of 10 goals hit. Maybe we'll be doing the Taco Bell DSP Tries It sooner rather than later. Awesome. All right. So, getting back on track here because we got distracted. The whole thing that I'm talking about here is the whole change in the way that this whole streaming thing has been seeing, or how this streaming has become parasocial in the last 10 to 15 years. You know, when I started on YouTube, it was, hey, I'm just some asshole who sucks at games. Let me make some funny videos, funny commentary. It doesn't have to be good gameplay. Just toss the videos up on YouTube. And hey, if people watch them, great. If eventually something comes of it, great. And that was it. Now people literally go into the idea of content creation with the mindset that I'm going to build a community. I'm going to build an entire group of people who have a certain mindset, who like to hang out with each other, that this is their friend group, and they're going to have this relationship with me, and I'm going to have a relationship with them, and they're going to send me all this support and money. And you know what I'm saying? That's very different than what it used to be like back in the day when people made content on the internet. No one used to go into it with the attitude that this is going to be my job. This is going to be, you know, and I'm going to have long-standing relationships and friendships and shit with the people who are watching my content. Never. For me, I'll be honest with you guys, I've said this many times over the years, it's kind of like a revolving door. Like, do you ever see at the front of a big skyscraper in New York City or a department store, those doors that just rotate endlessly? Some people come in and they're part of the community and they love the content, and then they get busy with life and they leave and I never see them again. And then some people actually come back in years later, say, hey, I'm back after 10 years. Wow, you're still streaming. And that's awesome. But for me, that's what it's always been like. But for some of these communities, these people become actually like legit obsessed with the person they watch to the point where it becomes like unhealthy. People start to have crazy thoughts, unhinged thoughts, like, oh, I'm actually going to go and meet this person and I'm going to have a romantic relationship with them. And I'm going to give them all this money, but then we're going to enter like a lifelong relationship. And that actually just happened. If you remember, we reported on the story about a week ago of the South Korean streamer who apparently received $70,000 from one of her viewers. Now, they're saying that it was part of a business relationship, okay? The guy went to meet with her. She broke it off and said, no, I'm not going to do this, and he murdered her. Yes, that's a real story. It's awful. It's horrendous. It's terrible. It's scary as hell. Okay? So the thing is, we are now going to, I feel, we're going to start to see more and more in this stuff happen because we have allowed streaming to get to the point of such parasocial relationships that there's going to be a lot of these cases now popping up. Okay? Now, that's my take. Maybe I'm wrong, But I feel like this is now, it's been unchecked, uncontrolled, unregulated. No one had eyes on this for over 10 years. And now the crap is starting to hit the fan. Okay? So, in line with this topic, something has just happened at TwitchCon that absolutely never should have happened whatsoever. It is completely unacceptable behavior. It is completely unacceptable that it happened because of the person who did it, but also the fact that it was allowed to happen. All right? Here's what happened. And I apologize because these pop-ups just aren't ending at this point. Streamer Emiru, I think it's Emiru. I don't know how to say her name because I don't watch any of this content. All right? Basically was assaulted. Now, what do you mean by assaulted? Well, let's read this. Twitch streamer Emily Shunk, known as Emiru, was assaulted by a man who breached barriers and grabbed her face during a meet and greet at TwitchCon in San Diego on Saturday. So what actually happened, I'm not going to play the video because I don't think that giving these people any kind of attention is warranted. But the dude basically was in a line to see her, and he broke through the line. No one stopped him whatsoever. There was security there, and they did absolutely nothing. They watched him literally walk up to her, grab her face, and try to kiss her. That is assault. Okay, now it might be a violent assault. It's still assault. You tried to force yourself onto someone, and that is a serious crime. Okay? So as he's trying to do this, her personal bodyguard, not Twitch security, who was there and did absolutely nothing to intervene, but her personal bodyguard walked up and grabbed and pushed the guy away from her. Okay? Then the guy basically walked away and no one did anything to him at all. They literally let him just walk away. So Emiru went to her personal manager, explained the situation, said, I don't know what's going on. This is completely unacceptable. The manager went and kept complaining and complaining and complaining to TwitchCon staff. Like, what is going on? This is insane. It's unacceptable, completely unsafe conditions. Eventually, after much convincing, TwitchCon staff finally said, well, let's find the guy. They found him. They threw him out. And they said, you now have a lifetime ban from both Twitch in person and the Twitch website. That's it. They didn't call the police. This was a crime. She was assaulted in front of everyone. It's on camera. Everyone has seen this. They didn't call the police. They didn't think that, the guy physically assaulting and trying to get a sexual advance, kissing her, just ban him from Twitch. Okay? So, on top of all of this, let's keep going. So Emiru reported on an X post that Twitch security did not intervene promptly, allowing the assailant to leave unchecked for hours until her manager intervened and accused staff of laughing about the incident without checking on her. Twitch stated the individual was immediately removed and indefinitely banned, but Emiru contradicted this, noting the ban was initially only for 30 days and was escalated after her team's advocacy, highlighting broader security issues for creators contractually required to attend such events. So, in reality, there already had been major concerns about TwitchCon. Streamers like Asmongold and others had already brought this up and said, this is a crisis waiting to happen. This place doesn't really have any security at all. All right, they don't. They're not checking for anyone. I mean, there's like a scanner at the door to see if someone has a gun. But outside of that, they're really not doing anything. Anyone could just walk up and do anything to anyone and no one stops it. And what kind of an event is this, right? Now, admittedly, again, I mean, all I can do is give you my frame of reference. 10 years ago, when I was at conventions, there was zero security. But also, this was all grassroots. Like, the whole idea of a YouTuber becoming popular and having fans come and see them was such a small idea. Today, these are now streamers who have literally 1 million plus followers. They're getting thousands and thousands and thousands of people watching their content on a daily basis who are having these weirdo thoughts, okay? It's not like it used to be back then. It's very different. So, it's very weird that you're going to run a convention. It's big money for you. Twitch, they make big money on this convention every year. Lots of attendees, lots of profits for Twitch. They don't seem to think that they need to invest any of that money back into making the event safe at all. They actually think it's just okay to just have anything happen. They laughed it off. And then in addition to that, okay, this is the head of Twitch. His name is Dan Clancy. This is the guy, the head honcho who runs this website. Okay?
And others. Obviously, we saw one Twitch streamer yesterday, Amaru, get assaulted by a male fan, and a lot of streamers have, especially female streamers, have talked about, you know, the danger that they feel from these sort of toxic, I guess, parasocial kind of creeps. What are you guys doing to prioritize safety? Because I know also a bunch of Twitch content creators said that they were too scared to even come to TwitchCon this year, just in case something like what happened yesterday would happen.
The safety of our creators is the top priority. The challenge we face is a challenge in today's society. It's not limited to Twitch. It extends throughout our society. I do think that when you're live streaming, in many ways, since you control your community and you can ban people, you can make it so that those people that you don't want engaging with you and participating with you aren't there, okay?
What? Did you hear what he just said? He said, oh, if you're a streamer, you could just ban the people who you don't want in your community. This wasn't the stream, you idiot. This was real life. This was an in-person event that you hold, that you're legally responsible for. And your response to what happened is, oh, you could just ban them on your stream. This guy is the head of Twitch. He's literally numero uno. Let's continue.
It's very different, you know, when I use other short form content and people say all sorts of stuff, well, I can't stop that. But when I live stream, they basically don't bother me. Now, what happened yesterday obviously was something that we care deeply about, securing this environment. You know, we're looking very closely at everything that happened there, and I care deeply about Emmy. She's a friend of mine, and so I want to see how we can support her. This is just something we have to keep working on. I think everyone identifies our tools in terms of trust and safety as the leaders in the industry about helping creators, but that means
he just said the trust and safety team at Twitch is the industry leader for helping creators. He just said that. But again, he literally just said it's unfortunate what happened to her in real life, but our trust and safety team on Twitch is the industry leader. What is he talking about? The question was literally, what are you going to do in the future to protect your creators at TwitchCon? He then says, on Twitch, you can ban people you don't want in your community, and our online trust and safety team is the industry leader. What the fuck is he talking about? This is the head of Twitch. Literally, he has nothing to say.
there's always more work to be done because that's the world we live in now.
Demi had posted earlier today that I guess this fan was allowed to cross multiple barriers at TwitchCon. Why should streamers trust Twitch to keep them safe at TwitchCon? Because I feel like simultaneously this has been such a secure event to the point that even like journalists have had struggled. Like, you know, it is very secure, but here's this man that just walks up and is somehow able to bypass all these things. So why should they trust the platform when slip-ups or, you know, issues like this have happened?
Well, I mean, as you know, I think you toured some of what we do in terms of security. The reality is, even as you do a lot in terms of security in today's world, there are challenges that can present themselves, especially when someone is
He's still not saying anything. He's answered the question 3 times and has said nothing yet. We're still waiting for an actual answer.
putting themselves out there, right? And so, you know, we try to work very closely with each creator about what they want to do and what works for them, right? So I don't want to get into any, you know, specifics or details, but part of that is working with creators and, you know, trying to find them. Right now, we're definitely, you know, ramping.
So basically what he's saying is it's her fault because they worked directly with the creators and they were okay with whatever was there, and obviously it wasn't enough to stop the guy, so it must have been her fault, right? Folks, this is the head of Twitch. This is the guy who, when you stream on Twitch, you're lining his pockets with money that you earned. Because if you're streaming on Twitch, that's your content, that's your originality, that's your community, you should be profiting, but you're giving him half your money. This guy who doesn't have answers, doesn't know what's going on, doesn't care, is completely out of touch with reality, and doesn't actually run a legit business. This is the same guy who protects terrorists, who protects racists, who protects animal abusers. This is the same guy who allows sexualized content to be on the front page of his website directly in the eyes of minors. He doesn't care about any of that because all he cares about is your money. He's a scumbag. Okay? This man, Dan Clancy, is a grade A slime ball. He shouldn't be in charge of Twitch. He shouldn't be in charge of a fucking 7-Eleven. He's a piece of shit. Okay? And I can say that wholeheartedly, all right? Because I've seen Twitch get more and more degraded over the years and fall apart at the seams. It used to be a website about game streaming. It used to be a website about content. Now it's about money. I don't care what you actually broadcast as long as we make money. That's essentially his mantra, okay? And he tries to judge, but it's all about self-expression. It's all about this. No, it's not. It's about money. Because people can't self-express themselves on his site unless they're in line with his philosophy on life. There's numerous cases where the rules are not actually enforced properly, where someone who has a certain mindset or has a certain political stance gets banned or gets removed from being able to have financial monetization of their content. But then someone else who's of a mindset he likes gets completely protected from everything. 100%. So this guy's a scumbag. And here's the truth, and I've said this before and I'll say it again. Anyone who has morality, anyone who has a right mind, anyone who actually cares about doing a professional business should not be streaming on Twitch because they are not professional. They don't care about anything but money. So as long as the money rolls in, why would they care? Unless Emiru sues the living shit out of them for what just happened at Twitch, why would they ever care about changing for the better? She's interviewing this guy distinctly about this topic. He has 3 times not answered the question, and he will get off, walk away, and no one will be in trouble for this. Now, what if this guy had walked up and stabbed her in front of everyone, just slit her throat? That very well could have happened. And he would have been like, well, we work with the creators for the security. Unfortunate that happened. Maybe she should have banned him on a stream. What? So, yeah, I'm sorry. I've said this before and I'll say it again. I'm never going back to Twitch. Under no circumstance whatsoever will you ever see me streaming on that website, period. Even if it means that every other site has banned me, I will never go back to Twitch. I will not stand for this kind of behavior at all. This irresponsible piece of shit. All right? He's a scumbag. I will never, ever make a piece of content that he will benefit from ever again. All right? And anyone who is in their right mind needs to do the same. Okay? Seriously. Anyone who's in their right mind right now, this is the tipping point for Twitch. They have now shown distinctly that business does not care about you. They don't. They don't care about what content's on their site. They don't care about the protection of their creators. Nothing. They don't care about anyone besides the money. So he's literally saying that, okay? Time to leave. I mean it. And here's this weird misconception that people have about Twitch. Well, the reason I stream on Twitch is because there's discoverability and because it's the place where I can get seen and I can make money. Not anymore. Twitch is not a place where you can be discovered. Twitch is not a profitable place. Twitch pays you less than every other streaming site. You make more on YouTube. You make more on Kick. You make more on Rumble, for God's sakes. You make more everywhere. Except Twitch. Twitch is the worst place to stream. They will always put garbage content to the forefront so that they make more money. They won't help you. They won't protect you. They don't care about you. Whether you're a creator, whether you're a gamer, whether you're just a watcher, a viewer, they don't give a shit. They will allow their top talent to be assaulted and then brush it off like nothing happened. So stop with this. At this point, it's time for a change. It's time to say, take the broom, sweep the trash away, stop with watching Twitch. I mean it. Stop watching people on Twitch. Stop broadcasting on Twitch. Leave Twitch. This is toxic for gaming. This is toxic for content creation. This is just toxic for human existence. You get it? The fact that this site is allowed to operate like this as a business is harmful to humanity as a whole. This man and his actions hurt humanity as a whole. Time to wake up. Instead of just listening to everyone, Twitch is the place to be, man. Twitch is the cool place. No, it's not. It hasn't been for a very long time. Their entire mentality changed. They started being so underhanded with the way that they do things, the way that they handle issues. There's no consistency. There's no fairness there. There's no real profitability, but people just believe what they're told. Get out now. Go do something right for yourself. If you're a streamer on Twitch, do something right for yourself. Grab all your community with you and say, listen, if you actually like me and my community, this community and this content that I stand for, we cannot be on this site anymore. They have now shown directly through their actions, they don't care about anything but money. It's time to leave. And that's what needs to happen, because a place like that will never improve if they keep getting business. And they do. People keep, every day, I can't wait to be a partnered streamer on Twitch. I'm celebrating. I finally made it. I'm partnered on Twitch. You're an idiot. No, you're actually stupid, because you're giving that man money. That guy right there. Do you think he deserves a penny of your money? The guy who doesn't care about you or anything? Okay. Anyway, sorry about that. Had to rant a little bit, but I mean, I've been talking about Twitch for years about what a horrendous business they are. What an awful place they are for anything. You don't want to be there. That's toxic shit. Like, that's the definition of toxic shit. And people don't listen. They just believe, oh, well, I was told it's the best place to stream. It's the worst. It's actually the worst. You won't get discoverability. You won't get views. You won't make money there. They take half your money. Okay. All right. Well, that's one topic done. Let's do some shout outs. Okay. Then we'll get to our next topic, which is equally weird. Holy shit. Let's see here. We got some tips. We got some super chats. Let's get through them. Someone tipped $2 says, on this topic, what's your strangest or weirdest fan interaction? Not detractor stuff, but actual fans. You know, it's hard to say. And the reason I say that is because I've been around for so long, okay, that I've been through probably 3 different, like, generations of fans. And I don't actually mean 3 generations, like entire lifespan of a human. But I mean, like, there was early YouTube fans, right? Then there was kind of that interim where I was a big YouTuber fans. Then there was when I became a live streamer. Then there's like the more recent wave. You know what I mean? But in reality, there's some stuff that happens. Like, for example, there's some people who just don't understand, like, boundaries. I've had people who think that it's okay to mass email, mass call, mass try to contact me via various methods when it's just not. And I don't know why, because I don't reciprocate. Like, when you see that, when you see someone who's just trying to, like, constantly get your ear, you know, there's probably a reason why. Like, what is going on? I've had people who I've literally never spoken a word to, all right, try to reach me for 2 years straight and be like, I just don't understand why you don't talk to me. Well, because you're weird. Because you're acting like you're obsessed, like you're a weirdo, okay? I said this, I've told this story before. Back in the day, I had a fan that I know for a fact was like, and this is long ago. This was like early days of YouTube, first few years that I was making content. I had a fan who became, like, romantically obsessed with me, okay? And I had to just break it to them as honestly as I could. I was like, this is a fantasy you're having. This is never going to become a reality in any circumstance. I have to tell you this now because I want you to understand that. I don't want you to ever have a misunderstanding or misconception of something or an expectation that something's going to happen that never will. That's unhealthy for you, and you should move on if that's the case. And that's actually what happened, is eventually that person just split off from the community, moved on, and never spoke to me again, which is probably better for them. If they were to that level of obsession where they were having romantic, you know, crazy thoughts, then yeah, you should do a cold split is the best thing you can do. So stuff like that, I would say. Lucky for me, I've never actually had anyone escalate anything to the realm of physical, and that's a good thing. And maybe that's one of the best choices I ever made, was living where I live in a private community, being a private person that keeps to himself, doesn't go to conventions, doesn't do this kind of shit, because who knows what would happen, especially today with the way that things have changed. You never know. It's not like it used to be back in the day when it was like safe to do shit anymore. People are nuts. There's an entire generation of people who have grown up online for 100% of their life. Since they were children, they were online. Online communities, online discussions, online videos, online streams, online gaming, online this, online that. Their whole life is online. That's so weird to me because I grew up offline, and it wasn't until I was in my mid to late teens that the online existence even began. So for me, I had a whole human existence before everything went digital. And then when everything went digital, now all of a sudden there's all these social communities and things you join and be a part of. And basically now I feel like there are people who are just so disconnected from reality. They actually believe that their online existence is the most important thing. It's not. That's what I keep telling you guys too. Like when people say, well, I don't understand, Phil, how can you keep it up? How can you keep going the way you do with so many people talking shit about you online every day? I said, because you just said it because it's online. The moment that I disconnect my internet and I'm spending time with my wife or we're going out and we're doing stuff, none of that online shit matters ever. It doesn't mean a thing. That's so disconnected from the real life here. But a lot of people think that's real life. No, that's a computer. That's a computer screen. This is my real life. My person here. What I'm doing with my wife, what we're having fun. That's real life. Not the virtual relationship that you have with the streamer. That's not your real life. That's what you do with some of your free time. That shouldn't be the focus of your life. That parasocialism is way crazy and out of control. You see what I'm saying? And I think there's a lot of people who don't understand that. These are the people who they're into this toxic culture of online either obsession or hatred. It's one or the other. You like something so much you're obsessed with it because you love it, or you're obsessed with it because you hate it. Either way is equally toxic. And either way, you're messing your mind up. You are, because that's not real. It's not real at all. It's just a virtual thing your mind made up to make you, maybe because you didn't have anything in real life. Maybe you don't have any real life friends. You don't have anyone activities you do in real life, nothing you like to do, right? So now online becomes your entire presence. That's sad. Online is fine in moderation, just like everything else in life. If you live eternally online, 100%, your life is fucked. And you need to actually realize this, look in the mirror, be like, oh my God, I'm online 24/7. There's a problem there. There's a major problem there. You've got to make a split. You've got to start doing things for yourself, a real life. That's the best way, I'm telling you. Because let me tell you, it used to be like that for me. When I was a YouTuber, my whole life was online, and look what happened. My real life friendships, they splintered. They broke apart. I lost friends because I was eternally online content. Right? Now, I've made that distinction. No. When I turn off this PC, when I'm off stream, that's the line between me and my real life. And my real life is more meaningful to me than my online presence. I'm sorry, it just is. I love my wife more than this. If it ever became, I have to, make a choice between an online presence or my wife wins. Okay? So it's that simple. But a lot of people can't even do this. Like, well, my whole life is just online. There will ever be a split. That's fucked. That's really messed up. Seriously. Someone tipped $2, says, I believe Asmongold is a Kick co-streamer too. He gets thousands there. All it takes is for him to go, I'm not streaming on Twitch anymore, just Kick, and that's Twitch losing one of their top guys. More people need to say fuck Twitch now that they're streaming alternatives. Listen, here's the thing. If you were really struggling to be an online creator, right, and you want to make it happen, and if Twitch was the only viable way to do it, because it's the only place where you could get views, it's the only place that you can make money streaming, then it's kind of hard to be like, well, you got to be the big man here, the big woman, and you got to say, oh, well, I'm going to bite the bullet and go stream somewhere else where I get no views and basically I go out of business. That's not the case anymore. Now there's so many viable alternatives. YouTube is definitely one. Kick is definitely one. There are places where you can make money other than Twitch. Twitch isn't even the big moneymaker anymore because they take more money than any other site. It's a joke. I'm telling you right now. I make more money on YouTube and Kick than I ever made on Twitch. Period. There's not even, because of this. No, just period. They're better places to stream. But you only hear this weird narrative that Twitch is the best place for discoverability. Twitch is the most profits. No, it's not. That's an outright lie that community propagates because they want everyone to think that's the place to be. It's not. It's the most toxic place, the lowest paying, most harmful place to be. Get the fuck out. I got a $5 tip. I would love to be playing you guys animations, but because these memberships are still continuing, I still can't. We have to wait for these to die out. So I got a $5 tip. This person says they banned her favorite bodyguard previously. He protected her from an incident at TwitchCon 2 years ago. They initially gave the assailant a 30-day Twitch ban for the assault. That Clancy What? That Clancy Fells? Anyway, he's saying Dan Clancy went out partying with streamers the same night of the incident. Of course he did. That's that guy. Look at that guy. Look at this guy. Look at this man. Does this look like the guy who you want in charge of your future? Does this guy look in any way, shape, or form like a professional who thinks like he knows what he's doing? No. But that's who they have in charge of Twitch. You know what I mean? These idiotic companies, man. He's out partying. He's having a good time. Oh, that happened. Oh, who cares? I'll just bullshit tomorrow in an interview, and I'll say we're working on it. And I'm so sorry it happened. All right, but what are you actually doing? Well, he doesn't have any answers for that because they're not actually doing anything because they don't care. Let's see here. I got a $2 tip about Hassan. Yeah, I know all about it. We're not going to talk about Hassan today. Everyone already has talked about it till they were blue in the face. You guys know that I love animals and I don't, I would never, ever, ever defend that kind of behavior. So, yeah, I think you can figure out my opinions on it, but we're not going to talk about that shit. Okay. To be honest, I don't even think we have time for our other topic, the Miyamoto topic. I don't think we're going to get to it. Abdullah, it says here you became a member. I don't know if that's a re-upping or whatever, and there's no way for me to tell now because the stream's all screwed up because of the insane amount of gifteds. So if you did actually become a member today, thank you for that. I appreciate it. Vasiled did a $13.13 super chat. And he says, parasocial people are the result of extreme loneliness, sadly, and it is far worse for female streamers. They think there's a chance they will date them. It's all a scary time to be a creator. Yes, and here's the thing about that, right? You got to be so careful because in regards to this topic, okay, you may think that what you're doing is safe and innocent, but you have absolutely no idea how the person on the other end of the internet is taking something you're saying or doing. You might just be trying to be nice to someone, and then they take it the wrong way, and now they think that you like them or something romantically, which is ridiculous. There is 0 streamers out there. 0. I'm going to repeat this. There are 0 streamers. 0. Who are looking at their audience and thinking, oh, man, maybe I'm going to get into a romantic relationship with my viewer today. 0. All right? 0. It doesn't matter what they say or do, how they act, if they're flirting, if they're smooching. They're just doing it to get your money. That's it. There's no one else. There's no one out there who's thinking that at all. But on the other end, these people who are, again, they're living eternally online. 100% of their existence is spent online. So they actually think that's a relationship. Like, oh my God, I got an interaction from this streamer today. And then they get the wrong idea and now they're nuts. And now they're obsessed with you. And then this shit happens at TwitchCon, which is insane. Princess Luna, thank you for a $14 super chat. I'm going to try to cumulatively update this first, and then we'll celebrate. Thank you for that. Stevester with a $10 super chat. He says, exactly, bro. It's sad. What the heck, Twitch? Thank you, Stevester. The Villain with a $5 super chat. Why do we have old people running Twitch? Well, listen, there's nothing wrong with old people running anything. The problem is the people who they have in charge of these things are completely out of touch. You got people running Microsoft who are running the company into the ground with repeated choice after choice that makes no sense. And every time they make it, the entire gaming community says, what are you doing? But they don't listen, right? You've got Nintendo that literally abuses its customer base time and time again. It's almost like a Stockholm Syndrome situation where the customer base keeps giving Nintendo to not give them what they want, but Nintendo just keeps getting away with it. You got Twitch, which is literally the worst place to stream. They've got the lowest quality standards. They've got promotion of sexualized content to minors on their front page. They've got the worst monetization options in the industry. But somehow people believe that Twitch is the best place to stream. It's not that Dan Clancy is old. It's that he's just uncaring. Okay? He's actually the worst kind of person to run a social site because he doesn't care about the community that needs that site. You know what I'm saying? Like, the idea between a social network or a social site is that you're building a community and you should care about that community. You should want to protect them. You should want them to be safe. You should want the content to not be corrupting, to not be hurting. He doesn't care as long as the money prints. So he's the worst person. If he has no moral compass inside to direct him to good, then he should not be running a website that's supposed to be a social place for humans. Get it? You need to have actual social people, like moral people, to actually fucking run these places, and they don't have them. Instead, you got these corrupt fucking assholes who are in charge of this place. Oh, let's see here. Weak Sauce did a $2 super chat to say no one cares about my opinion. Well, that's weird, Weak Sauce, because it looks like I have hundreds of people across 2 different platforms watching me live. I have probably about 1,000 people watching me on illegal restreams. People will be clipping this like crazy and sending it all over the internet today. Okay? So I think people do actually care. Oh, by the way, look at all the support I also got on the stream. Just saying, you know. You want to know, Weak Sauce? I think what actually the point is that no one cares about your opinion, but thanks for your $2. I think we're caught up. All right, good. We are caught up. So since we're caught up, I think it's time to celebrate because, folks, guess what? With all these contributions, we hit another goal. And it's not even with the gifteds. This is not even with the gifted memberships. We hit a second goal without even the gifted memberships. So thank you guys very, very much for your support this morning or now this afternoon. And wow, obviously an absolute great start to the week. And I appreciate everyone being here for it. Very nice. Okay. So, you know, I had another topic, but the podcast is already gone, almost an hour and a half. We didn't even get to the end of these pop-ups. Again, we had sadly 200 or 250 fake memberships, 50 real ones. My goodness. I really want to talk about the Miyamoto story, but we don't really have time. You know? It's such a sad story, too. Because if this is really the mindset of Nintendo, I feel really sad. Should we do it? We got to do it quick if we do it. It's not going to be a lot of time to talk about it, but do you want to talk about it? 300 fake ones? Was it 3? What did he do? Did he drop 300 fake memberships? What an idiot. But like I said, those 300 fake memberships probably amount to like $20 for me. Seriously, it should be, if you actually do the math, all right, it should literally be $600. No. $900. It should be $900 of profits. But I'm going to make like 20. Anyway. All right. Let's do it. Let's talk about it. You ready, guys? I can't believe this. Let's get to it. Again, you can't see it because the pop-ups won't stop. I'll read it for you. Okay? Miyamoto. Nintendo's movies counter games obsolescence. What? Shigeru Miyamoto explained in a Kyoto News interview that Nintendo was expanding into films to create lasting cultural impact. Wait, what? Miyamoto doesn't think that Nintendo has lasting cultural impact yet? As video games become unplayable with new hardware releases, he referenced upcoming projects like the 2026 Super Mario Galaxy animated film and the 2027 live-action Legend of Zelda adaptation, building on the 2023 Super Mario Bros. Movie's $1.3 billion box office success. The comments prompted discussions on X about game preservation with varied opinions on Nintendo's efforts like Switch Online Classics. So here's one of the actual quotes. Games eventually stop running when newer versions come out, but films remain forever. What? First of all, let's analyze that statement. Games eventually stop running when newer versions come out. So because Super Mario Galaxy 2 was just released on the Switch 2, you can't play original Super Mario Brothers? What? What does that even mean? The statement doesn't make sense at all. Like, it's confusing. Like, what is he trying to say? Is he trying to say that when a new version of a game comes out that's modernized, the original is obsolete? I don't think that's true. To this day, I would much rather play some of the classics like Street Fighter 2 over the modern Street Fighter 6. Everyone might just talk about Street Fighter 6, but that doesn't mean Street Fighter 2 doesn't exist or can't be played. I would still much rather play Super Mario World on the SNES than a modern Mario game. That doesn't mean that, because there's a modern one that the original doesn't exist. So what is he saying? The other half of the statement's even more confusing, but films remain forever. Now, I think what he's trying to say is, if you take Mario and you put him in a film, well, people are always going to remember the Super Mario movie, and the Super Mario movie can't change. Therefore, it makes him more mainstream pop culture. Okay, except no. Would you like me to give you a perfect example? The Super Mario Brothers movie. No, not that movie. I'm talking about the Super Mario Brothers movie, the live action one from the early 1990s. Does anyone remember that movie? I do. I saw it in theaters. It was horrible. It was so bad it was good. It's really one of the worst movies ever made, in my opinion. Even the actors, Bob Hoskins and John Leguizamo admitted in interviews, the movie was so bad they got drunk on set before they started doing their acting so that they could get through it, because it was so bad they had to be drunk to actually do the movie. But here's the point I'm making. Does anyone actually really remember that movie? No. Why? Because that movie came out. So now when you say the Super Mario movie, everyone says, oh yeah, the CGI one with all that. No one says, oh, the Bob Hoskins, John Leguizamo movie. So there's been tons of instances where in the movies, because a newer version came out, the old version is completely forgotten. How many movies have remakes or they get redone 10, 20, 30 years later, and no one even realizes that there was an original and this is actually a remake? They just think that's the original. So his point saying, well, if we take these video games and we make them movies, well, now they're going to stand the test of time. They're going to last forever. Even that's not true. So the first half of his statement, games eventually stop running when newer versions come out, is just wrong. And then number two, films remain forever. That's also wrong. So I don't understand what in the holy hell this guy is saying. And the sad fact is, I do hold Miyamoto in insanely high regard. I think he's a creative genius. But at this point, maybe we have the wrong people in charge. Maybe he should just stay behind the creativity of making games and not be in charge of parts of the company. Because what he's saying is just nonsense. And it's funny because if you actually look at how people react to this, for example, this person, God forbid someone wants to make them run longer and Ninty sues them. Emulation has actually done a fantastic job of preserving games forever, despite Nintendo's best efforts to the contrary. It's correct. Basically, what's happened is people have attempted to keep Nintendo games alive. Nintendo games that aren't actively being sold, that can't really be played on a modern platform, people try to emulate them, and time and time again, Nintendo sues them and says, you can't do that. That's our IP. That's our property. Sue you to take it down. It's like, okay, we understand you want to protect your intellectual property, but then why don't you offer that to the public? If you're not going to actively offer it and sell it yourself, why are you shutting down people's ability to engage in art? Because that's what it is. People want to enjoy art, and they can't because Nintendo is basically gatekeeping it. We threw it into the Nintendo vault, and you just can't play it anymore. What's with that? Doesn't even make sense. Because what he's saying, games eventually stop running when newer versions come out. Yeah, but that's your choice. You easily could have these games on Nintendo Switch Online. You could have a full emulator suite that you run that people pay to access. But instead, you hide your games in a vault. You close the door. You're the one that chooses that your games stop running. So you're the reason that your games are fading into obscurity. It's not the gamers. The gamers love your games. The gamers want to play your games. I would love to play all the Nintendo classics. I love them. So why are you gatekeeping them? What he's saying is just wildly crazy because he makes it sound like there's an epidemic where people don't want to play classic games when that couldn't be further from the truth. It's that they hide the classic games from the public. They want you to buy the new version, right? They want you to buy Super Mario Galaxy 2 on the Switch for $40. They don't want you to go buy the original version. They don't want you to go buy Mario 1 for $5. They want you to buy the $40 one. So they take all their other games and they lock them up. And they say, we'll just buy the newest offering. That's a business decision. That's not, oh, culture has decided that video games of the past are irrelevant, so the only way that we can make this culture relevant is to make movies of it now. That's nonsense. That's complete just garbage. And again, this is coming from Miyamoto, who everyone thought was like a creative genius. And again, maybe he is, but maybe then he shouldn't be in charge of this kind of shit. Maybe he shouldn't be making these kind of decisions, making these kind of public statements, because this doesn't make any sense at all. From a gamer's perspective, we're like, no, it's not the case. Does he actually believe that? Because it couldn't be further from the truth. I've been saying recently, when it comes to classic Capcom fighting games, if Capcom would literally put the effort into creating a suite or a game, an app, where all their classic fighting games were available in there, but it was cross-platform, it had great online features, maybe a chat messaging system, a full ranking system that actually mattered, and had promotions, demotions, like a modern fighting game, then maybe people would actually care to keep playing their classic fighting games on a regular basis. The problem is Capcom doesn't do that. They literally go for the instant profit. So there'll be a collection and they'll put Street Fighter 2, Street Fighter Alpha, Street Fighter 3. They'll throw it in the collection. No crossplay whatsoever. Online connections suck ass. Lobby system is terrible and doesn't have the features you need. The online ranking system doesn't work properly or is broken. And they release it and everyone plays it for 2 months and says, well, that's it. And then that never gets played again. Then in another 5-7 years, they'll release the same games again in another collection to make another instant profits. And then it just gets dropped again. If you would actually create something that would have quality, people would care about your classics and they have posterity. But instead, you look for the instant profits. You look for the quick buck. Nintendo has done the same. They'll sell you the game, then make it so you can't buy it again for 10 years. Then all of a sudden, here's a version of the game that's on the Game Boy Advance. Oh, cool. But now that's obsolete. Well, now here's a version of the game for the Nintendo DS. Oh, cool. Well, now that's obsolete. So now like the original game digital on this service. Oh, wait, that service got shut down. Buy it again on this service. You're the ones gatekeeping the game, not us. We love the game. We would love to keep making it culturally relevant and talk about it, but you keep hiding it and charging again for it. So you're the one creating the situation. You act like it's culture. It's not culture. It's you. It's corporate greed. It's Nintendo's desire to sell and resell and resell and resell the same content that makes it not culturally relevant anymore because no one can access it when they want. Extreme Machine says, Miyamoto's been out of touch with various aspects of gaming for a while. Even back in Galaxy, the director had to hide the Rosalina story stuff and then advocate for its inclusion afterward. Sheesh. All right. So I think we've covered the stories I wanted to cover. I went long on the show, but it's time to wrap it up. All right. We'll be back on Tuesday. Tuesday morning is the Halloween special. What we're going to do, we're going to go into your guys' nominations of games for the Halloween marathon. Okay. And we're going to see exactly what games you want. And we're going to try to make that happen. Maybe, I don't know if we'll do a poll or if we will just simply say, hey, these are the most nominated games, just roll with them. We'll see. Maybe what we could do, because a lot of the games I've probably never even heard of, we can look them up and see what these games are, where they're available. You know what I'm saying? Make sure they're actively accessible. Because I hate to say it, sadly, sometimes people will nominate something and it just doesn't make sense. Like if you nominated a 47-hour-long RPG and the first half hour is just the intro, I'm not playing that during the Halloween marathon. That's not the point of the marathon. Do you understand? So we'll see what kind of stuff people nominated and go from there. That's going to be Tuesday's show. No show tomorrow as we focus on advancement in games and, but good stuff today, right? Great return show. I had a great time chilling. Thank you all for the overwhelming support. Over $300 of support, and that's not even including the fake memberships. Excellent. Okay, everybody. Thank you so very, oh my God. Thank you so very much for watching the Level 1 podcast. We'll be back on Tuesday with another good one. Thanks for watching, and I hope that you will stick around to watch all of my gaming content in the next few days. And I'll see you soon. Peace out. See you then.